What's up, everybody? I'm B-True, and today we're going to talk about two ninja that are in the game right now that become endgame ninja through the skill breakthrough system that a lot of people are using over in China right now. But first, I want to give a very special shout out to a fan that I was introduced to last night for the first time. Her name is Abby. I wanted to say hi to her, and I know that it would make her day to hear me say hi. However, it might honestly give her a heart attack, but hopefully she's able to handle the hello. It was very nice to meet you. So anyway, yeah, so real quick, up front, I want to give credit where credit is due to two different people. First off, Draconis Nex. He is the one who put in the work to create the Google spreadsheet that has the list of all of the skill breakthrough systems. I'm going to leave a link to that spreadsheet in the description if you want to check it out. It's got all of the translated ninja through skill breakthrough system in it. So thank you very much, Draconis Nex. I appreciate all the work that you put into that document for all of us to read. Second, I want to give not necessarily a shout out, but again, like I said, credit where credit is due. The reason that I have any knowledge whatsoever of endgame ninja in China is thanks to Scion Storm's videos. Every now and then he'll make a couple videos where he goes over what the top users in China are using, and a lot of the ninja there we don't have, but some of them are in the game right now, and through the skill breakthrough system they've turned into endgame ninja, which is why I wanted to cover them in this video. So thank you, Scion, for covering that so that I was able to actually make this video. And thank you, Draconis Nex. I appreciate the work that you put into the Google Docs. Leave a description or a link in the description down below. So I'm going to be looking at, I actually have it open in my laptop over here for the translations. But anyway, like I said, these two ninja, we're talking about Susanoo Sasuke and the third Raikage. Okay, so not the, or no, the fourth Raikage. Yeah. The fourth Raikage, not the third one, the reanimated one. I'm talking about the fourth one. So those two ninja actually, through the skill breakthrough system, have turned into endgame ninja in China because of the upgrades that they received, and they're actually in the game for us right now, so you can actually focus on getting them and starting to get some of their fragments so that you can start to prepare for that, because these are ninja that are attainable right now that you can actually start setting yourself up for the future for endgame type content. So all right, let's start. Here, let me move the laptop a little bit closer here so I don't have to talk away from the mic. So we're going to start with Susano'O Sasuke. All right, so what happens to Susano'O Sasuke? Basically, he turns into a very strong ranked battle and great ninja war character. And as the game progresses and we get closer to what China has, there's actually a lot more PvP functions where you have 3 battlefields worth of people, not just Great Ninja War. So eventually they're actually going to add in a cross-server Great Ninja War. So characters that do 3 battlefields worth of damage actually become incredibly important. Somebody like Ito Datara, who does shit tons of damage to the whole lineup. Like Roshi hits 9 people. Anybody that hits 9 people, Mei is really good. Stuff like that. So Susano'O Sasuke right now, he causes damage to the opponent's entire team, but that's only one team, right? So that's one person's team, and even if they have all 9 of the spots filled up, he will do damage to all 9 of them in that team. With his mystery, causes repulse, and has a high chance of a critical hit, so it does do a lot of damage. With the skill book system, right? So this is just the upgrades. He does actually have the skill breakthrough, which changes his skills, and I'll get to that in a second. But through the skill books, he causes damage to up to 9 opponents' units. That will go across 3 battlefields. Causes repulse and has a high chance of critical hit. So basically what he ends up doing is he hits 3 battlefields worth of people, and he does a lot of damage because it has a high critical hit chance, and he already does a lot of damage. So he becomes really, really strong for a Great Ninja War or like a ranked battle or any of these other functions with 3 battlefields in it. Then his standard attack. Right now it is attacks the opponent's front row, has a chance of triple combo and low float. It has 1 upgrade, and all it does is add the chance of paralysis on his low float. So a chance of low float and paralysis. So it's okay. It's one of the weaker debuffs, but hey, you know, paralysis can end up really screwing somebody's combo, and that, you know, sometimes that's the difference. Then his first passive is his super armor, right? So he is immune to low float, high float, repulse, knockdown, as well as pure ninjutsu damage. This actually has 2 upgrades. It's the same with the immunity to low float, high float, repulse, knockdown, and pure ninjutsu damage. And the first upgrade increases his resistance by 15%. The second upgrade increases his resistance by 30%. So it actually makes him a lot more tankier to the debuffs that he's not immune to, right? So this is going to help him with any kind of poisoning or ignition. An extra 30% resistance definitely is going to be helpful for him. Makes him a little bit tankier. Can never be upset about that. So then both of his chases have at least 1 upgrade. His first one, triggered with a 10 combo, causes fire attribute damage to 2 opponents, and has a fixed chance of critical hit. Okay, this has 1 upgrade, and all it changes is that it hits 3 units. Okay, so how do I have to hold my hand to look at the camera? There we go. So it hits up to 3, or it does hit 3 units now on a 10 combo chase. Then he has his Inferno style flame control, which chases and attacks low float, causes high float, and ignition, and that's an ignition that lasts for 3 rounds. This has 2 upgrades. So the first one, it's the same exact thing, except now the chase can be triggered twice, but it does 30% less damage. But then the second level to that is it can still be triggered twice, but it does 10% less damage. So you end up almost doubling the amount of damage that he can do with his chases, plus the fact that he, causes ignition for 3 rounds, which is super powerful. So then, if we scroll down a little bit, we have his skill breakthrough changes. Now, these are when skills actually change completely, okay? So the skill book system upgrades your skills. Skill breakthrough completely changes skills. Both of the two changes that Susanoo Sasuke has are both to his chases, okay? So, for his first chase, the 10 combo chase, that actually gets replaced by a passive where every time one of your units is defeated, the unit's ninjutsu and attack gets increased by 5%. This has 2 upgrades to it then, okay? And it changes to, the first upgrade is 7%, and the second upgrade is 10%. So if you think of, like, Ito Datara, whenever something on the field dies, his crit chance, I believe, and maybe his ninjutsu, I know for a fact his crit chance goes up, okay? So in this case, if you have something where you're creating a lot of clones or a lot of, things that are meant to die on your team, it's going to buff Susanoo Sasuke's ninjutsu and his attack by 10% every single time. So he can actually turn into this incredibly nuky character, right, at the expense of one of his chases that, really isn't even all that, important. So something you could think about on a fight that lasts a little bit longer. He can end up one-shotting people, especially with his upgraded mystery. So then, finally, his second chase, which is his Amaterasu, low float to high float, and 3 rounds of ignition, that gets replaced by, again, it's not a chase, but it is a reasonable upgrade, or a reasonable change here. Causes 3-round ignition to anybody who receives a critical attack. Okay, so him using his special or his mystery skill has a high chance of critical hit. Right, hits 9 people. With this new passive here, everybody that hits with a critical hit is going to be getting 3 rounds of ignition. So he can actually cause ignition to up to 9 people, sort of like May. Except this ignition will last for 3 rounds unless somebody gets rid of it. Again, it kind of depends on how you feel. Do you want a really long chase and kind of increase your damage that way, or are you looking to maybe cause widespread ignition across the entire team? Some things that you can think about, but as you can see, Susanoo Sasuke becomes incredibly important for teams when you end up fighting across 3 battlefields, right? So, now, let's get into A. A is by far the more commonly used in endgame PvP lineups between the 2 of these guys. Alright, so now we're taking a look at A, the 4th Raikage. And this guy, after the skill breakthrough changes, actually turns into a one-man army, pretty much. It turns into this character that can single-handedly win you fights by himself. He can carry the entire lineup. Entirely crazy what they ended up doing with him. He's by far one of the strongest characters right now over in China. So, Let's take a look at what he does currently. So he does, Mystery is, when used, becomes immune to all debuffs for the round that it was launched. He attacks 4 times and increases his critical hit chance by 15%, and that lasts for 1 round. Now that has a 3-round cooldown. And what these changes are is actually, it's pointed at the cooldown right here. So he has 2 upgrades to this skill. The first one is, everything is exactly the same. However, if you have over 90 chakra, so 95 or 100, or I don't think you can get like weird numbers like 96 or whatever, but 95, if you have over 90 chakra, the Mystery will not consume chakra and it will not have a cooldown, meaning you can use the skill every single turn that you use it with over 90 chakra. All right. Then the second upgrade, when used with over 70 chakra, so much easier to hit that 70 mark there with a couple different characters. When you get over 70 chakra, it will not have, it will not consume chakra, and it will not suffer from a cooldown. So he can use that every single turn. 4 standard attacks every single turn for a character that does a shit ton of damage, and it makes him immune to debuffs. So that's how he kind of turns into this crazy late game carry, right? It gets a little crazier though, so bear with me here. So his standard attack right now attacks random opponent's unit and causes tag. Also has a chance of triple combo and high float. Has 1 upgrade, and that changes too. It attacks a random opponent's unit and causes tag. Also has a chance of triple combo and high float, but has a guaranteed 2 combo. So not really much of a difference there. You're not really looking for that upgrade. That's not going to change really anything at all. Next, his first passive currently is, if the opponent's team has a ninja suffering from tag, it replaces his standard attack. This is where things get kind of awesome, right? Causes a certain 5 combo and high float to 1 opponent's unit suffering from tag, and it disperses his tag. Now this has 1 upgrade, and this is really like what solidifies him as crazy endgame. All that's the same, okay? He attacks somebody with tag. He does his crazy, combo flipping around to them, disperses the tag, causes high float, but it also cancels super armor for 1 round to the affected unit. Think about that for a second, right? So in China, a lot of the end game tanks are end game because they have super armor, okay? Super armor is able to really negate the amount of damage that a character takes. You're thinking of Itachi, Madara, Susanoo, Sasuke, Han. I can't really, there aren't a ton that I can China endgame ninja that I really know off the top of my head that have super armor, but I know that super armor is a very, very valuable thing. Even, A has super armor. Shit, so both the Raikages have super armor. So, like, super armor is a really important thing to nullify the amount of damage that a character takes, right? Well, with this combo now, when he attacks somebody with tag, he gets rid of their super armor for 1 turn, meaning that you can cause... you can do his chase on them, like on a Madara or Susanoo Itachi, and now all of a sudden we start getting into some pretty awesome territory. Because you think of a lot of the end game characters and the characters that are really strong have some sort of a debuff built into their chases, right? So you have people who cause, like, immobilize or acupuncture with their chases. Both of those are really strong things to have in a chase to help out, or maybe like a poisoning or a an ignition, paralysis, right? Any of those debuffs are super, super helpful. I always try and look for some sort of an immobilization and a chase for one of my characters, just to have it to take somebody out of that turn, and then you can cancel their mystery if you use it correctly. Well, one of the big benefits about somebody with super armor is those chases don't affect them, so they can't cancel their mystery. They can't cause those debuffs to them. Well, with super armor now means nothing, and you can do your full combo and get all your debuffs. Has debuffs built into his kit, so not only does he cancel super armor and allow you to use the debuffs, but then he can then do the debuffs on those characters. He's attacking 4 times every turn. Think about how crazy that is. That's why he's a badass right now. So then his second passive is aggressiveness. He is so it has super armor, immune to low float, high float, repulse, and knockdown, and he heals himself for 40% of the damage that he does. This has 2 upgrades. The first one gives him 60% lifesteal. The second one gives him 80% lifesteal. Now he already does a shit ton of damage. Adding on top of that 80% lifesteal means that he pretty much can heal himself back to full health every turn that he uses his mystery. And he gets to be able to use his mystery every single turn after a certain point of the fight. Think about how crazy that is. That is why he is so amazing. And then his final passive is his chase. Chases and attacks a high float unit, causes knockdown, and immobile. So he has an immobilize and his chase, which is already super important. I absolutely love characters with immobilize in their chase. This also has 2 upgrades. The first one is it can be triggered twice per round, but it deals 30% less damage. And then the second one is twice per round, but it does 10% less damage. Especially considering that he does 4 standard attacks, means that most of the time he'll be able to get off his super chase with the tagged unit to 2 different characters. So by doing that, he could actually cause his high float to low float to both of them. So he can immobilize 2 different characters in the same turn, which would be incredibly, incredibly helpful, okay? Now, if you weren't thinking that that was enough, he also has skill breakthrough changes, where the skills actually change a little bit, depending on what you're using here. So these would be very situational, to be honest with you. So the first one changes his mystery. When used, I shouldn't say any other. One other Kage level ninja will become immune to all debuffs during this round it was launched, and the units will use 2 standard attacks and increase their critical hit rate by 15%. Okay? So instead of having 4 standard attacks for A, you're going to have 2 standard attacks for A and another Kage level ninja. Now, if you pair him with the 3rd Raikage A, both of them would have 2 standard attacks and be immune to debuffs. That would be pretty special. However, it has the 3-round cooldown, and you're not able to use this every single turn. So this is more of a team buff type of thing, as opposed to making a one-man wrecking ball. This then it has 1 upgrade to it, and it gives both the units 3 standard attacks. So technically you'd be having more total standard attacks. However, like I said, it still has a 3-round cooldown. So unless, like I said, if you've used both Raikage, unless you're really expecting them to one-shot somebody and take them out completely, it's very situational, but it has the ability to be awesome. Right now, a lot of people in China are not. They're using the original just so that A can use that every single turn and he has that crazy lifesteal. But you have the ability to make some cool lineups with that. And then the only other thing that has a skill breakthrough change is his aggressiveness, which is his immunity to low float, or his super armor. So right now he has the immunity to all chases because he has super armor, and then it has the 40% lifesteal, which can go up to 80%. This changes it, so instead of having lifesteal, so you actually lose the lifesteal, which kind of sucks. But for each chakra point you have, this unit will increase its attack and ninjutsu by 1% and their defense by 1%. Alright? This has 1 upgrade, and it changes the defense up to 2%. So attack and ninjutsu up 1%, defense up 2%. So it's basically the same thing as what the 4th Raikage has. Losing lifesteal, I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. However, like I said, you could do some pretty crazy things with the 2 Raikage, both having insane damage buffs from having high chakra, and then giving them both 3 attacks each. That could be an insane blitz team right there that not a lot of people would, really be able to do anything about. But again, like I said, completely situational. So that is what makes A so damn strong. There are a lot of endgame type ninja right now. You've got, Angel Conan. You've got the Shark Mode Kisame, Grudge Kakuzu, the reanimated swordsman, KCM Naruto, Madara. Shisui, the Anbu, like you go, all this stuff goes on and on. You have a lot. Ito Hiruzen and Ito Asuma are as a team. They're a really strong lineup that a lot of people use. However, we don't have any of those in the game right now. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to cover the 2 ninja that actually are end game that we have in our lineups that we were able to actually start kind of planning ahead for future stuff and start kind of saving up the necessary, you know, materials or whatever. So hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of insight into what the future of Naruto Online is going to be and some things to think about. You know, maybe you weren't too interested in getting A anymore now that, because he's in the Kage treasure and some of these new treasures are coming out, but maybe this will change your mind a little bit, give you something to think about, right? So A and Susanoo and Sasuke both become extremely strong through the skill breakthrough system. Highly suggest trying to get them now or saving up their fragments if you can. There are more systems that come out, so it's not entirely fragment based over in China. However, right now all we have is the fragments, but we don't have the skill breakthroughs anyway, so that's okay. So hope you guys let me close this here. Horrible lighting on the side of my face right there. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I will leave a link down in the description to those documents if you want to check it out. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you everybody for watching the whole way through the video. It really helps me out, helps my channel grow. I appreciate it so much. You guys are all awesome. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see you all in the next video, and peace.